Let's welcome back to MidPoint, retired Army Colonel and Senate candidate from Louisiana, Rob Maness. Colonel, before we proceed any further, I think I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, are you going to go after elected office again?
Well, my answer to that is we've got the future to look forward to. And, I've never had political office as one of my life's ambitions. But if the people of Louisiana stand up and call out and let me know that they need a candidate like me to fight for their liberty, prosperity, and certainty of a strong America again, then I'll certainly be listening for that.
Are you upset perhaps that you didn't do better than you thought you might have?
Well, we did well considering we took a loss. Mr. Cassidy, he won the Republican nomination in the primary, and we congratulate him. We're working to get him elected now. But we brought a couple of 100,000 new voters into the Republican Party as first-time voters, from what the chairman of the Republican Party has told me, and we're very proud of that. Then we're going to continue to build on that and fight for conservative candidates and citizen legislator-type candidates.
Have you been offered any sort of a position moving forward, or any sort of group that you're now looking that you will potentially join here in the near future?
No, I have not.
Okay. Want to make sure we get all the election stuff out of the way before we continue. Let's go ahead and move on to immigration now and the president's executive order. The president says, go ahead, I dare you, basically, is what he and the people at the White House have said regarding this. The constitutionality of this comes up. Americans have spoken. The polls are out there saying that they do not want this to happen. In essence, so whether it's you or anybody else that we're talking to, we continually are running in circles here, because it doesn't seem as if the Republicans can do anything substantive. Certainly they can cut off some funding here and there, but this is a president who's going to go ahead with this plan, and he's going to do it. What then do the Republicans / Tea Party / opponents do after this executive action hits?
Well, you mentioned the funding for the activity. They can always cut that off, and then it would be his decision on whether he chose to shut parts of the government down and those kinds of things. But we're really the Republicans that I talk to, and myself included, we don't want to shut the government down. There's no reason to do that, but we've got to hold this president accountable. And he may be going down a road where the Republican Party that now has the majority in the Senate and the House finds itself up against the wall, so to speak, and has to take more constitutional action. And the only remedy left to them is, in my opinion, articles of impeachment and then an impeachment trial if that were to pass.
So then, if indeed the president does go through the executive action, if you had the position and if you were there, you would call for impeachment?
I would, yes. I would be calling for impeachment.
Do you think, though, it would have any chance of succeeding? That would be the next question. Or would it be something else that the American people would look at the Republicans and say, please stop wasting our time and do something substantive?
Well, unfortunately, the president's the one taking the action that's not substantive, because even the executive amnesty is not a substantive action. It can be reversed by the next president. And probably would be if he were to be successful in that. But I don't think he would be successful in that. The funding would be stopped for those activities, and Congress would stand up and take responsibility. Unfortunately, though, if he chooses to take an unconstitutional action, there really is not much other remedy in the Constitution other than the pathway of impeachment. And somehow a president must be held accountable regardless of what party he or she is in. And that's the remedy that's available to the Congress.
I got about 90 seconds left, and the president has indicated that he would consider the possibility of putting American boots on the ground in the Middle East in this fight against ISIS if ISIS somehow got a nuclear weapon. As a former military man, does that really come up to you as sort of strange to say, and perhaps even saying, well, we got to keep them from getting it in the first place?
It is very strange, and this president's approach to this issue has been very, very circumspect. From what I can tell, he's not come to Congress with a strategy. He's not come to the American people and laid out his strategy, his objectives, or his exit strategy. And all of those are required to minimize the loss of life and destruction, no matter which side you're on, but especially American lives. And I think the Congress should, again, hold him accountable and step up to the plate and take responsibility for their duties under the Constitution, and get this president on track when it comes to this type of military operation.
So about 30 seconds I have left then. Who would you support then on the Republican side for 2016?
Well, we're looking at quite a few. I'm not ready to name any yet, but we'd certainly like to see a strong, conservative, bold candidate that's going to step out there and lead the American people.
Would that be Mitt Romney again?
Well, I've supported him in the past, but there are others out there that we'd like to take a look at.
Okay, and nobody you want to name here? Give us a couple of possibilities.
No, not yet, but the names of Cruz and Palin, those kind of folks do come to mind.
All right. Well, Colonel Rob Maness, we thank you for your time, and don't worry about it. We're going to check back with you again as we get closer to 2016. Good luck, and we thank you again.
Okay, thank you, and thanks for having me on.
All right, time out. We're back with the weekly house call and the perfect news for those seeking to avoid a heart attack, and this has nothing to do with watching a sporting event or seeing a selfie you hoped would be destroyed, posted on someone's social media page. It's all coming up right here on MidPoint.